Many sectors of our economy, including retail, financial services, and healthcare, keep track of us by gathering and analyzing data. Data that tell our own stories. Data that help others anticipate our wants and needs and enable those who would serve us to predict our next moves. The university convened Charlotte's first major conference on big data, Charlotte Informatics 2012. We took our Inside UNC Charlotte cameras to gather some of the current thinking on big data, along with where it's going and how Charlotte could become a leader in this expansive field.
Things are changing so quickly that you constantly have to change.
Belk and Lowe's are trying to predict what their most loyal customers will want to buy and making offers to them.
We're going to need a slew of new talent.
So think about those things that Charlotte can already do and figure out a way to magnify that around the globe.
Charlotte as a community has, is going to be one of the leaders in the informatics and analytics.
We are getting more data all the time. There's lots of opportunities, lots of companies that are providing us information, insight into our customers. And if we're not on top of that, we're going to be left behind.
The idea of using data to make decisions like financial services, healthcare, retail is another big industry, which we have a lot of large retailers here in the Charlotte region that just want to know how do we use this data, this customer data, to deepen our relationships and to sell more products that they want and they need. And banking's the same. They're dealing with customers, and so a lot of their operations are retail oriented, and they're doing the same thing. Healthcare wants to reduce cost and determine what the best tests are for patients, and so they're using data to make those kinds of decisions.
This period seems to be one where we've decided as a society, well, let's take advantage of all of that. Let's really use the data to understand our customers, to predict what they want, to make sure we have the right amount of every key resource in the supply chain and so on. Even to identify, what kinds of people work best in our organization and who's likely to stay around, and how do we intervene for the ones who are not likely to stay around.
They have the analytics and they have the next best offer, or they have the next thing available, but it's all through service. It's all through the service interaction. So if somebody were to, talk to you in a conversational way, mention to you, you're far less likely to say, whoa, how did you know? Than when you come into the store, your cell phone gets bombarded with, by the way, your wife's birthday is coming up, here's an offer, right? So it's the same offer, but the way it's presented, that's a huge deal. But then also we have to think about what it is that the customers have a tolerance for.
I think Charlotte business people are competitive. I think big data is going to be one of the determining factors of who are the winners and losers in the free market enterprise system in the coming years. We want our companies here in Charlotte to be the ones to succeed. We have an opportunity through the resources of UNC Charlotte, the technology that can be applied within the existing economy, those who we can attract here who want to take advantage of both of those things. We have an opportunity to be one of the big data centers in America and on the globe.
Because we are striving to build a new kind of enterprise, okay, to train new kinds of students, to build a new kind of academic programs, to build a far more deepened integration between different disciplines, from business to technology, and by combining university and industry together. So therefore, that new and growth-oriented universities like ours have far less baggage to get rid of than many of older, more established universities. I think we can do it, but it needs a drive, it needs a partnership, it needs leadership.
There are plenty of regulatory opportunities for people to say, and just value opportunities from our own perspective to say, we don't want you to share information even among affiliates. Some of our customers do that, most don't. We're pretty careful about how often we use that information, how we use that information.
40-year-old men who go to Home Depot are the most likely to end up in the ER because they don't go to the doctor, they don't So, I mean, but that said, that also didn't come from any healthcare information, right? It came from purchasing patterns, and so what is the ethics of using that data predictively to do things like that? That's where I think the challenge is.
You know, we worked with a hospital in Toronto in the neo-NICU unit. These are babies who could die. They could die tomorrow. And we took all the sensor data from all the, operating room or intensive care sensors, and we plugged them into a big data farm. And we predicted babies that were going to go into septic shock 24 to 36 hours before the doctors and the nurses did. You know, the funny part, there wasn't one of those parents that raised the ethical issue when it meant saving their sons' or their daughters' lives. So when you look at it for how big data can fundamentally change the world we live in, how big data can stop a bombing in Times Square, how it can save a life. Yes, are there some challenges we're going to have to face with ethics and things like that? Yes, there are. Will our lawmakers learn how to write the correct policies over time? Yes, they will. But right now, I'd rather solve in situations like this to solve people's lives, right? That's the thing I'd be worried about first. And that's the cool part of using data for its right and its good purpose.